Well guys, after weeks of going back and forth between Target and Toys R Us, I finally found all 5 of the legendary lions. Well, here they are, and boy is the anticipation killing me, so without any further ado, let's get into it. Well, I guess we can start with the heavy hitter first, which is the legendary Black Lion. The Black Lion forms the body and the head of Voltron, and it houses the main electronic components of the assembled Voltron figure. As such, this is the only packaging that has a Try Me feature. Now, one of the main gimmicks of the legendary Black Lion is that it can play over 50 phrases and sounds. If we push the Try Me button, we can hear a couple of them.
Systems compromised. Let's assemble Voltron and get rid of these Golra. Voltron is the only thing that can stop Sarkon. Now, we will destroy you.
Well, there we get a sampling of some of the sounds that it can play, and it seems instead of them playing in a loop, they're kind of just randomized. Now, another key feature of the legendary Black Lion is that it does have over 25 points of articulation. We'll take a look at that once we get it out of the box. Alright, let's open it up. And here we have the contents of the packaging. We have the legendary Black Lion, we have some advertisements and some instructions, and our speeder. Each lion comes with a little speeder, which is basically just a piece of rubber molded and painted in the color of the lion. If you watch the show, you know that the speeders are used by the paladins to dock into their lions and also to explore various planets. Each one of the speeders can be docked inside the lions. All you have to do is underneath, open up the little door, then take our speeder and align it to the docking port, snap it into place, and close our door. As I mentioned earlier, the Black Lion houses the majority of the electronic components of the assembled Voltron figure. You can access those electronic sounds while he's in lion mode simply by turning him on and pushing the button located on the side of the figure.
Voltron is the only thing that can stop Sarkon. Form Voltron!
The figure itself has some decent articulation. You can move the head up and down. You can open the mouth. The paws move back and forth. So does the elbow joints on the legs. The same goes with the back. And the paws. And the tail can move up and down. You can also adjust the wings, but the wings are there mostly for the assembled Voltron figure. And that's pretty much it for our legendary Black Lion. Now, as for the other 4 lions, they pretty much seem the same to me. They just have a slightly different molding, but they do each claim to have over 20 points of articulation, and they each seem to fire some form of projectile. Now, in Voltron mode, the Black Lion is supposed to react to the other 4 legendary lions by saying a unique phrase for each. Well, let's take a look at each one of these individually, and then we'll assemble Voltron. Okay, so first we'll take a look at the legendary Yellow Lion. Okay, so here we can see the contents of the packaging. We have the back cannon, the legendary Yellow Lion, 4 projectile discs, 1 speeder, and the instructions and some advertisement. Here we have the Yellow Lion. I have him in this nice sitting position, which really shows off the articulation of these figures. And taking it out of the box, I can immediately say that I am very impressed in the build quality of this figure. These lions have some really good articulation to them. But when you do take it out of the box and you're going to have them in lion mode, there's a couple of things that you should do in order to prepare it. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that the tail is pulled all the way out. The second is to pull the head out, so that we expose the neck. We'll attach the cannon to the back of the Yellow Lion. Simply take the cannon and snap it into place. Next, we want to load the cannon, and to do that, we simply take our projectile discs and dump them in. Now, to fire the discs, there is a red lever on the side of the Yellow Lion. All you want to do is pull that back. Now, the lion does have a compartment for the speeder. It's located underneath the lion. If you look, it has this little drawer. Just open up the drawer. Inside, you can see that it does have a little outline of the speeder and some notches to fit the speeder securely into the lion. Just take your speeder, match it up, click it into place so it holds it pretty securely, and then just close it up. Now I have to say I'm extremely impressed by the build quality of this toy. The body itself is of a very solid and well-constructed plastic, and the paws are actually this pliable rubber, but they feel very secure and very sturdy. The tail is also the same similar rubber, and it's very pliable, but it does not have any kind of wiring inside that allows it to stay in place. So it's kind of just free moving. But when you're ready to assemble Voltron, the tail does tuck away inside of the lion, which is very convenient. The mouth opens but does not stay open because it is on a spring-loaded system. And that's it for the yellow lion. Next we'll take a look at the blue lion. And here we have the contents for the packaging of the legendary blue lion. We have the legendary blue lion, the back cannon, the projectile, the speeder, some advertisement, and the directions. And just like the yellow lion, when we're in lion mode, we want to make sure that we pull the neck out. Also like the yellow lion, we want to make sure that we put our speeder into the compartment. It goes in exactly the same way as with the yellow lion. And then we close it up. The next thing that we want to do is attach our cannon to the blue lion. And to do that, we just want to take the cannon and these pegs here. We want to make sure that these pegs are attached to these slots. There's one on each side. And there we go. Next, we want to take our projectile and insert it into the cannon. And we're ready to go. To fire our cannon, we simply want to press the blue button, which is at the top of the cannon. You just want to push that button and there you go. Next, we'll take a look at the legendary green lion. Here we have the contents of the packaging. We have the green legendary lion, the back cannon. Again, we have some advertising and the instructions. We have the speeder and a portion of Voltron's sword. Unlike the blue and yellow lion, the green lion doesn't have as much head articulation. It doesn't move up or down or side to side, but it does move in this circular motion. What it lacks in head articulation, it makes up for in waist articulation. That's because the green lion does form one of Voltron's arms, so that waist is actually the elbow of Voltron. But when you have him in lion mode, you can actually use it to pose him in various different ways. Just like the other legendary lions, we can insert the speeder into the lion. It's the same as all the other ones. You just open up the little drawer. It has the outline. You insert the speeder, click it into place, and close the door. This back portion of the green lion is actually Voltron's shield, but you can opt to have this cannon attached instead. To do that, just remove the shield piece. And you want to insert the cannon into the hole behind the hole which the shield was attached to. Now we can load our projectile. And to fire it, just press the green button at the top. And lastly, we have the red legendary lion. And here we can see the contents of the packaging. We have the red legendary lion, his back cannon, some advertising and instructions, a speeder, the projectile, and one half of Voltron's sword. Just as we did for the other legendary lions, we'll insert the speeder into the lion. Again, underneath, open the door, align it to the outline of the speeder, click it into place, and shut the door. Next, we can attach the back cannon, and to do that, we just want to insert this peg into that hole. Next, just load your projectile and push the top button to fire. And that's pretty much it for our red legendary lion. Okay, in order to form Voltron, I've gone ahead and removed the back cannons from each of the 4 supplemental lions. The blue and yellow lions each form one of the legs of Voltron. We can start with the blue lion. In order to prepare him to turn into one of Voltron's legs, all you have to do is squeeze the back legs up into his thighs. Square off the thighs with the back. Pull the legs in, the front legs in, just like that. Then you want to push the neck in, pull this red piece up, make the head face up, and you want to take the tail and squish it back into the body. And there we have one of Voltron's legs. To transform the yellow lion, we essentially want to do the same thing that we did for the blue lion, which is simply push the tail in all the way. Take the back paws and squish them into the thighs. Then you want to square the thighs off with the back piece. You want to squish the front legs up, bend them up. Okay. Then you want to take this back armored piece, push it all the way back. If you see it's on a slider, we just want to push it back, turn the head, push the head in, turn the head up, and pull out this top piece so that it exposes the yellow lion's head. All right, and there we have our 2 legs of Voltron. The red and the green lion form Voltron's arms. We can start with the green lion. Just like we did for the yellow and the blue lion, you want to push the tail in. The next thing that you want to do is remove this back shield. Then you want to squish the back paws up into the thighs, just as we did before. Okay. Next, you want to take this back armored plating and open it. Then you want to fold the green lion's legs up and squish them into the cavity of this back green plating. The same thing with the other side. Fold the legs up, turn them, and fit them into the back cavity. Then we want to close the cavity back up. And one last thing that we want to do is pop out the hinge that will connect to Voltron, and that is located in the back, just like that. And we have one arm ready for Voltron. And you basically want to repeat the process with the red lion. Fold the back legs up into the thighs, square off the thighs, pop open the back cavity piece, fold the legs up and into the cavity on both sides. And close the cavity door. Also, don't forget to push the back tail into the body. And lastly, you want to pull out the connector, just as we did before. And there we have Voltron's arms. The black lion makes up the majority of Voltron's body, and in order to transform him, you simply want to take the tail, push it up against the body, take the back legs and straighten them out. Take the front paws and insert them into these compartments. Then you want to take those front shoulders and pull them down so the black part faces forward. And then lastly, you want to take the black lion's head, face it down, and we'll wait to reveal the face once we have the whole piece completed. Now we can attach the legs. To do that, we simply want to insert the black lion's straightened legs into these back compartments of both the blue and the yellow lion. to snap them into place. And there we have the legs of our Voltron. Next, we can attach the arms. In order to do that, simply insert the peg, which we had pulled out before, into these shoulder holes until they snap into place. You want to do the same on both sides. Insert the peg into this shoulder hole. Just push it in until you hear the snap. Okay, and now we just need the finishing touches. The first thing we want to do, of course, is expose Voltron's face. In order to do that, just open the Black Lion's mouth. And there we go. Of course, no legendary defender is complete without a sword. To form Voltron's sword, we simply want to take the two pieces that came with the red lion and the green lion and simply attach them together. And there we go. We can now place his sword in his hand. And, of course, his shield. To attach the shield, we simply want to snap this little peg into this little hole. And he's ready to go. One last thing, of course, is Voltron's wings, so that he can fly in outer space. To expose those, we just want to take the Black Lion's wings and pull them out. And there we have our Voltron Legendary Defender. Also, you don't want to forget to pull out the Black Lion's ears to form Voltron's horns. One of the cool features of this Voltron Legendary Defender figure is that as you assemble him, he does interact with the other 4 lions. I've taken him apart and now I'm going to put him back together so that you can hear the sounds that he makes as you assemble him. Alright, here we go.
Let's assemble Voltron and get rid of these Golra. Pitch, fire up the green lion. We're coming in hot. We need the red lion.
Blue lion, ready for action. Red lion, ready for battle. Green lion, all systems go.
Yellow lion engaged. Red, green, black, blue, and yellow lions detected. Voltron operational. Now we go on the offensive.
Okay, so now it's time for my final verdict. What do I think of the Voltron Legendary Defender figure? I have to say this is one of the best built mechs that we've had in recent years. Considering that at retail it runs for over $100, I do expect it to be good, and this is definitely good. Not only is this a great display piece, but it's also a very functional and sturdy toy. I can honestly say that this is probably one of the best purchases I've made this year. If you're a classic fan of Voltron, or if you're just getting into the new Netflix series, I highly recommend this Voltron Legendary Defender figure. Its beauty and interactivity definitely make it worth the cost. Well, that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Voltron Legendary Defender figure. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.